Sometimes in Survivor, there is a moment that sets the course of the season or whatever Jeff was going on about. Well, time travel has entered Survivor. We have to go back. What is Erica going to do, Marcus?
If I have this twist correct, she is not safe right now, but if she smashes the hourglass, she will be safe. So if I'm right about that, she will 100% smash the hourglass and make everyone who thought they were safe no longer safe.
What do you think, Kevin?
Yeah, I think it's like a no-brainer, honestly. And what's fun about this, I mean, there's certainly been a lot of discussion about like, is this a good twist? Like, is this kind of convoluted? Probably, yeah. But I think the fact that Erica has it specifically actually makes it more compelling than if someone like Nasir had it, where I think he would just like obviously probably keep it the same, I would imagine. Like he already has an idol. He can keep himself safe. So the fact that Erica has it and she can basically screw over her entire former tribe, I'd say that's probably setting up something pretty interesting. So I am very excited to see how that all plays out.
Yes. Welcome, Derbyites. We are breaking down Survivor, the merge-ish episode of Survivor. I'm Matt Noble. This is Kevin Jacobsen and Marcus James Dixon joining me to break down the episode 6. Are we up to Playing Like a Lion? And yes, so no one got voted out. It's Jeff told us it's a sort of 2-part episode. We'll see the second part play out next week. There was a lot going on. They get to a challenge. Jeff says they've sort of made the merge because they're going to break up into 2 random teams. The winning team earns their way into the merge. They get the buffs and everything for the merge. The losers are tribalists, and they are at risk of getting voted out and not making the merge at the tribal council. And the extra twist, twist upon twist upon twist, is that 2 people weren't going to compete in the challenge, and then the winning tribe or winning group, the people who made the merge, get to choose one to go into the merge. They get to just pick one of them, and the other one they get to send to Exile Island for 2 days and 2 nights. The return of Exile Island has been quite a few seasons since we've seen Exile Island in Survivor, and that was Erica. And then Jeff comes to the end, gives her an hourglass, says the time at the bottom of it represents everything that's happened in the game so far. And then rather than like, I would have thought since this is sort of like changing the events of history, it would have been just like turning the hourglass upside down. He just gives her a massive sledgehammer to smash it in the morning if she wants to reverse time. And the reverse time, when he's going on about this, I'm like going, oh, are they going to bring someone back? Like, what are they going to do? And it was no. She can just reverse the outcome of that last challenge. So the people who have made the merge will not make the merge, and the people who have not made the merge make the merge. All very confusing. I've drawn up a list of the names so that we know who has, or maybe according to Erica, if Erica goes back in time as she launches the DeLorean. So these are the guys and girls who have earned their way into the merge. Evie, Ricard, Sydney, Danny, Deshawn, and Nasir. And here's the people that have not made the merge, but with the smash of a hammer, Erica can send straight to the merge. And that's Xander, Tiffany, Leanna, Shan, and Heather, and Erica herself, which I think is she should do it since she saves herself. And she feels on the outs, and she is correct to feel on the outs because The Rock paper, scissor that Danny and Deshaun said they did to decide who went was a ruse. They wanted to get Erica out of the game. Oh, boy. Sorry, I've just gone on and on and on about all the twists. Marcus, Kevin, chip in. What do you want to add to this discussion?
Well, I love the idea that you have to win your way into the merge. I think that's a genius idea. It's easy to understand. There's not a lot of twists or needing to rewind to rehear the rules. It's very simple. If you win the challenge, you're in the merge. If you don't, you're not in the merge. What I didn't like was that two people just didn't compete at all. I thought that was kind of silly. And then if they did go this way with the two gray rocks that you didn't compete, I think maybe there should have been a vote as opposed to like a rock, paper, scissors. They should have all had to vote, bring out the parchments. Which one do you want? Which one do you not want? Or reverse, don't have the gray rocks at all. Have everyone compete and then maybe vote out someone from your tribe, vote out someone to go to Exile Island or something like that.
Yeah.
But I do like the winning your way into the merge. I like how only half the people had the feast and the other half didn't. So there's some stuff I like, some stuff I didn't really like. The gray rocks, I wasn't a fan of that.
Yeah, that would have been cool, I reckon, to say, hey, I'll vote, like, you've got to vote someone out of this winning group now.
Yeah.
And they won't be, they'll get out. You're voting them out of the merge, but they'll have to make a choice on Exile Island, which will decide the fate of the game. Or so, and then they go, oh, we're going to give someone power, but we're also going to have to screw them in the process. So that's like, how do we manage that? Could have been interesting. Kevin?
Yeah, that would have very good dramatic impact. My whole thing is that, like, we've sort of done this before. It's just been like not under the ruse of this being the merge. Like, normally this would be like we're sort of drawing buffs at random, and this is the tribe swap, and now we're going to compete, and the winning tribe would just win their way into the merge anyway because they won immunity. So it's sort of just like, kind of, I don't understand why so much of this was sort of convoluted to the point of having to really have Jeff lay out this whole monologue about it. When in reality, like, we've had like the tribe swap, and then someone is on the outs, they have to go to Exile Island, and then the losing tribe votes someone out, and that person on Exile Island goes to the losing tribe and they merge. Like, I feel like that's been done before, but this is just sort of like needlessly complicated, I think, when it could have been pretty straightforward. So that's sort of where I'm at.
And we had another moment of Jeff talking directly to the camera, and then the camera pulls out and we actually see the camera person. And I'm just like, it makes me feel a little like, I don't know, icky. Like, I don't want to see all of that. I want this to be like a show where we don't think about the cameramen and the producers and all of that. And for many, many years, it was that show. They would do a really good job of never showing a camera person. And now it's like they're highlighting them.
That's something that I understood why they did it in the premiere. Like, here we are, we're back. We're going to show all the effort it takes to put on this show for you. And then that should have probably been it. Like, I don't know why we're still doing that. And I also don't really understand why we're still breaking the fourth wall, but that's a Jeff thing.
Yeah, I sort of agree. I think the premiere, that was a great way to start the show, a great nod to the production, a great sort of, it almost made it seem quite epic the way they did it in the first episode, where they're like, look, this is a big production. There's a lot of things that go into place to pulling this great game together. So I agree that worked really well. I think just seeing a slightly different camera angle of Jeff that includes someone filming him does not add that epicness or that, like, part of the story of putting together this show or anything. So I agree. I think it was great for the premiere, and I think then you can park it. Especially since there's been such a big break before the show coming back. It was nice to see the whole crew and stuff. So great in the premiere. I think very redundant and unhelpful here, because it just sort of took you out of the game a little bit. But yeah, no, Jeff is enjoying filling us in. I think this worked a little bit better than the one where he said like where the beginning of Tribal, he just started talking to us. Okay, someone's getting voted out tonight, guys. Let's see what happens. Like, I think like it's at least better to tell us, hey, here's something they don't know about, and I'm gonna like let you in on it a bit before them. Here they come. Shh.
Yeah. Like he promised
guys.
before, Jeff promised before the season started that he would let the viewers in on some things that were going on. I guess this is what he was referring to. We would get to know 30 seconds before the other people. I mean, that's interesting.
Yeah, him hiding an idol is a bit better because then like you see where he puts it, and then you can see when people walk past that tree and stuff. But yeah, I think this was not as good as when he hid the idol, better than when he just told us something we already knew that was about to happen at Tribal.
Right.
Yeah, I sort of agree with Kevin. Like, there's sort of, I guess in theory, they are always like playing to win their way into the merge. But I also agree with Marcus that was sort of nice to have sort of the merge buffs be the reward, like, and to actually be playing for that. And I guess the one difference is they, in this, know that they know when the merge is coming now. So when they sometimes when you compete in that last reward challenge, you go, is the merge going to be next week or the week after? Just going, you win this challenge, you're in the merge. Like you're getting there. So I thought that was a fun.
Unless someone smashes an hourglass on a different island.
Oh yes, yeah.
In which case you're not on the merge.
Yes,
sorry.
Yes. Yes, very good point. So the twist is interesting. Like I don't know. I like the idea of reversing time and bringing that element into the game. I also think it was like a bit like random as well in the way it sort of was introduced, so that it sort of takes a bit of strategy out of it. The fact, like as you say, Kevin, that Eric can just smash a thing and then it's done.
What you said earlier about you thought it would be bringing back the eliminated people. That's what I thought. That was my first thought when Jeff said, you could turn back time. I thought he was going to be like, and here they are. Here's JD and Brad and everyone. And I kind of, maybe that would have been better than just, reversing a challenge. Like they've done this twist on Big Brother before where they kind of reversed a week and replayed the week. And I don't know if they're going to actually replay the challenge this time, but the effect will be the same. And I didn't like it on Big Brother, and I don't think I like it on Survivor.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they're not going to replay the challenge because like Eric is just deciding who wins. So like they replay the challenge, then the same tribe might win again.
So all the sweat and blood they put into digging up that ball and pushing that ball and climbing on that ball, all of it's for nothing. I don't know if I'm liking. The more we talk about this, the less I like it. Like they earned that win. That was a hard challenge.
That was brutal.
Yeah, I would not have done well in that challenge. I can tell you that, because even though I think like most of the elements I could have done, like I've been rock climbing before, and like by the time you get to the like third wall you're climbing, your arms do start to become like jelly. So I have no idea how, especially on limited food and water and things, I would have been able to get up that last wall. Now the promo for next week sort of suggests that Jeff's going to say to Erica, Erica, what choice did you have to make? And she explains it all. I would rather if she smashes the urn, just somehow production steals the buffs. They get Nasir on a boat, put him on the island, take Erica back overnight. They just, or even they just all rock up to the challenge, just like, okay, immunity challenge, playing for individual immunity now. So let's get up there, Ricard and Deshaun and Danny. And then they're like, wait, what happened? Like, no, they no, just like, no. Shannon's stuff won yesterday. Like, just act like nothing's, no twist has happened, and just like the players go, no, I could have sworn we won that puzzle. Like
that would be pretty funny.
That, like,
completely
then
mess with
Eric
their
would
minds.
then Eric would have to explain on the beach. Hey guys, I got I went back in time yesterday. I undid the thing. Jeff gave me an urn. I smashed it. It's changed the course of history. Like, but no, okay. Let's talk a little bit. We've talked a lot about are we thumbs up, thumbs down on the twist? What do we think?
Thumbs up on having to win the merge feast and win your way. Thumbs down on the exile, gray rock, hourglass. So thumb in the middle.
Okay.
Yeah,
Kevin.
I'm pretty much the same. And I think I would probably feel even worse about the hourglass thing if it was someone other than Erica who had it. Because I think that's more dramatically interesting that she's the one who has it compared to like so many others who would probably just play conservative, I imagine.
And I love how she's like, my one fear coming into this was having to go onto an island by myself for one night, but now I have to do it for 2 nights. Like, what are the chances that she's the one?
Right.
Yeah. So we've got I ultimately go, I think there's elements that I like to it. I think there are things that could there are things I sort of quite like thematically, but ultimately thumbs down. I think just too much going on. I think it's a bit too complicated. I think it's a bit too unfair on some of the players. Let's now talk though about the dynamics, because we in essence now have everyone starting to think about the merge. We're going to have everyone voting at the next tribal, although only half of the people will be eligible for votes. I've got I can open this up now, and these are the people still in the game. I've sort of used some colored markers to indicate what original tribes people were in. And I've drawn a square around this new alliance that seems to have formed of Danny, Deshawn, Leanna, and Sean. And 2 of them will be up for elimination next week. But you would have to say those 4 are looking pretty safe at the moment, because not only do they have maybe some ties from their past tribe, but they're now starting to form sort of a group with people on the on other tribes. What do you think, Kevin?
Yeah, I am very intrigued to see this happen again on a CBS reality show, because people who watch Big Brother know that the cookout formed early on in this season. 6 Black players on that cast, and they all sort of had the agreement that they're just going to look out for each other, sort of just tip each other off if they hear that their name is being thrown around, but like not really a cohesive alliance. But then it just sort of became this dominant force. And I'm wondering if the exact same thing might play out coincidentally on Survivor. I'm just very intrigued to see where that goes, because again, I think they could also be kind of covert about it like the Big Brother alliance was, and not have it be super obvious that they are together. So,
and this was filmed before Big Brother as well, which
right.
makes it even more interesting. And the best alliance is the one that you keep secret. And so I really hope they do keep it secret. They mentioned that they would. And the fact that, you know, the 2 guys are from the same tribe, but the 2 girls are from different tribes, it would be all the more surprising to think that these guys would be working together. And I love it. I'm going to be rooting for cookout number 2 from CBS.
The big losers of this alliance are, you would have to say JD, who will be pretty annoyed that this is forming now. Like, where was all this talk about shared experience 2 episodes ago?
I know.
And you leveraging that. And maybe also Ricard, who was very close with Shannon. Shannon's now building for herself other options, other like alliances, and Shannon Ricard was pretty tense at the beginning of the episode before the challenge when it was just the 2 of them on yours. So it's going to be really interesting to see. Like, I don't think necessarily they'll go for each other right now, because there's probably there's something workable there, and they'll probably want to keep that option alive. But I was sort of thinking those 2 could be good to the end, but it's looking like they're sort of not spending a whole bunch of time together now, and maybe they're going to get their own sort of things going.
Yeah, and Ricard, as he mentions over and over, he has no advantages. So now I think he's going to stick next to Shan's side. The question is, will she stick next to his side? I don't know. I can see her bringing him along as maybe the 5th member of the alliance for a while. Well,
the funny thing is, so there's a group of 12 now, and you've got the 4, like you got Danny, Deshawn, Leanna, and Sean. So that's 4 out of 12. But Sean and Deshawn both have extra votes. So they've got 6 votes. And Leanna's got she can steal an idol or a vote from someone, and Shan has an idol. So they don't got Xander's got an extra vote too. So I guess they've got 6 out of 13 votes.
That's a really good point. Sometimes I forget who has what advantages. Do you think let's say Leanna were to use her power, is Nasir the one that's most in danger of losing his idol, or is Xander? I think it's Nasir.
Probably.
The interesting thing was, like, Leanna suggested, okay, we'll take that from Nasir, and Shan, who's a very influential player in this game, she was like, oh, what about Xander? So it'll be interesting to see there's some different opinions on how she should use that. I think for Leanna, it would be better to use against Nasir. Like, she's got no connection to Nasir. If anything, Nasir's an option for Danny and Deshawn, who she's wanting to form a new alliance with. Like, whereas Xander's an option for Leanna. Like, as much as she might not want to go to the end with him, and she wants to shift the narrative, and she might not completely sort of love Xander, like, he is someone who is from her original tribe. There hasn't been any conflict or issue between the two. Like, he's definitely someone who might vote with her moving forward. So you'd think Leanna would be better to keep him as an option, even if it's not her first option. Like, when Nasir, it's just like, she's then totally relying on Danny and Deshawn. And then, you know, if they get to the final 5 with Danny, Deshawn, and Nasir, maybe they decide to cut the girls at that point. So I'd think it'd definitely be better to take Nasir out or take his idol, but I guess we'll see.
And there was a moment where Shan brought up Leanna's advantage in front of Tiffany. Do you think that was kind of like a brain fart, or do you think that was Shan's way of just being like, I'm in control of your advantage, and who knows about it?
Yeah, it's a good question. What do you think, Kevin?
Well, first of all, she has been without food for 12 days. So, like, I'm sure maybe that's part of it. But yeah, I could see that. I could also just see that, like, you know, Liana and Tiffany have been on the same tribe for 12 days now, and they seem to be an alliance. So you would think that Liana would have told Tiffany, probably in Shan's mind, but little did she know that there's like some weird tension going on now with Liana and Tiffany, which who knows where that's going to go.
Yeah, I think it's bad. I think it's a bad move, Shans. I think you're potentially annoying Liana. Like, you know, I think you should always assume you're now giving someone else information and knowledge is power, as we know in Survivor. So I don't think it was a good move for Shannon. And fortunately, Liana wasn't that angry with her about it or upset about it. But I think it was you know, too big a risk. And yeah, I don't know, if someone shared something with you and you know about it, it's probably best that you keep that to yourself, because the more people who know about that, the less powerful it is to you, that information. So yeah.
Shan is all about sharing knowledge. Like, remember when she found JD's extra vote coming out of his pants, and she got so mad that he didn't tell her. I guess she's an open book.
Yeah. Unless it's telling Jeannie about what to do with the idols.
Oh,
the
poor Jeannie.
How do we think this is going to break down? Who do we think goes home next?
Okay, let's say she smashes the urn. That means the eligible people are Heather. Oh no, Ricard. Sorry, Evie, Ricard, Sydney, Danny, Deshawn, Nasir. I think of those. I think Nasir. I think Liana's gonna take Nasir's idol, and then they're gonna vote him out.
Well,
yeah.
I
could see it. I am still thinking about Sydney as a possibility. Like, if they don't want to risk anything to do with idols, I think she's a good person to take out, especially if, like, let's say Erica, now that she's done this whole thing, really sort of people look to her and are like, what do you want to do? I think she would maybe try to orchestrate a Sydney vote out. So, but yeah, it's really hard to say.
Yeah. I think Leanna and Shan will make sure Danny and Deshaun don't go. So I think they're, I would guess, fairly safe. I think probably there's probably enough people in the game that are going to be looking out for Ricard. Like Shan, I think I don't think Ricard will be Shan's first target, and I don't think sort of a lot of those crew are going to go for Evie, to be honest, at this point. So I would say it's probably Nasir or Sydney. I know there's quite a few of the guys out there are not wanting it to be a male that goes out next. So might shift attention to Sydney. But I think also they can screw over Nasir with that knowledge is power advantage. So I think they're your two options. I think, let's say for a second, she doesn't smash the urn, or she doesn't smash the hourglass. What who do we think goes in the other side of the ledger?
It would be Erica, right? Yeah. Erica, or maybe
I would think so.
That's why it's such an obvious play for her that she should break it.
And then you've got the great narrative of she could have smashed the hourglass to save herself, and then she didn't. She worst move in Survivor. I don't think it would be the worst move, but it'll be discussed as like a dumb move sort of thing.
Yeah, she knows she's on the outs with her tribe, but I don't think she knows to what extent. She doesn't know yet that they were willing to throw a challenge to get rid of her. But I think I think she knows enough that she's on the outs that she will smash it.
Yeah. Marcus, do you want to talk us through how the prediction center's doing at the moment?
Okay, yes, at goldderby.com, who will be voted out? It's Erica and Sydney. Those are the top two. I guess Erica, if she doesn't smash it, Sydney, if she does. And the winner, so Shan, I think Shan was the winner last week as well. And then Evie is predicted at number 2 and Deshaun at number 3. So Deshaun keeps rising.
Yeah, he's doing well. The only thing we didn't really I think Evie's playing a great game. We didn't see much of her this episode in terms of how she's landing with people. So it'll be interesting to see who she sort of aligns with in these new dynamics and things. I think for Evie, Xander could be very key.
And remember, Evie and Deshaun went on a little excursion together. So I think Deshaun would keep her safe now that he has all of these numbers on his side. I think he would try to make sure that she makes it a couple more weeks.
That's a good point. Kevin?
Yeah, I think it's an exciting season because there's so many winner possibilities here. Again, I'm still thinking that Liana is a possibility if she makes a particularly key move with her advantage steal situation. So looking out for her, who else? I mean, Erica, who knows, could be the real underdog of the season and just emerge as the lion that she claims to be. So
Erica, by the way, is tied for last place in terms of who will win. It's her, Sydney, and Heather are all tied for last.
Poor Heather.
Yeah, I think Erica is a bit underrated there. Like, she could go next. Like, she doesn't make this move, she's probably out. So she's obviously, people are throwing her name around, so she's in danger. But she's one of those players, I think, who could go soon or go a long way. So whereas I think some of the other characters on this season, we haven't really got much of a story about it all. So I'd be more surprised if they ended up winning. I sort of agree with you, Kevin. I think the last episode or two, Liana's stock's really risen for me. I think she's in a great spot, and we're getting a bit of her perspective in the story and things. So I'd rate her quite highly, though I'm sticking with Shan as well for now. Marcus, what do you think? Who's winning?
I think people are underestimating Danny. He's way down in 9th place on our chart. I think that's too low, especially after this week. Maybe people haven't updated their picks yet. But I've been going with Ricard for a while as my personal pick to win, but I don't know, after the last episode or two where I didn't like that he took her Shan's extra vote and then refused to give it back. That just really didn't sit well with me. Like that's not going to work out for him in the long run. So I don't know. Maybe I'll just go with Shan. She's the overwhelming pick to win at Gold Derby. So maybe I'll pick her.
Yeah. Oh, very good. Very good. Any last thoughts on the episode, guys?
We mentioned before we went live here that this is the first time I think in 15 years that no one went home. Kevin, what was the season?
Panama, with the penultimate episode. It was like a tiebreaker thing with Suri and Danielle at the final four, and they went to a cliffhanger, like what's gonna happen. So
it's very rare to not have, an exit interview to read the next day. So I don't know. I don't know how I like some of these new changes, but we'll see in the long run.
Yes.
They've
and
done
to
this
clarify,
with,
like I guess we've had seasons without exit interviews because of like an Edge of Extinction twist or Redemption Island twist, but I think this is the first episode where someone hasn't been either voted out, medevaced, or quit. Yeah, quit the game. Like, so I think that's pretty interesting statistic. And the last one, as we said, was that fire making challenge that just sort of ended on the clip of who's going to win, and it was resolved within 5 minutes of the next episode. Right? They just had they had to make fire. Whereas this, like we're going to have a whole nother hour-long episode before we get the resolution of who's going home or who's getting kicked off the island. So this is probably the first sort of episode which they've really just cut in two.
I wonder, is there going to be a challenge next week? Because you can't really do an immunity challenge if half the people are already safe.
They're going to do an individual immunity challenge.
Okay, so the 6 that are, eligible for elimination, they will compete, and then one of them will win. Okay.
Yeah. So there'll only be 5 people that are eligible to be voted out at the next tribe, whatever decision Erica makes. So yeah.
Good to know.
So there you go. Exciting. A lot can happen in Survivor. Thanks so much for watching this Slugfest. All the best luck. Go to goldderby.com to make your Survivor predictions, and make also predictions for awards, Oscars, Screen Actors Guild, all that stuff coming up. And join the discussion in our forums.